Okay, step one, I gotta head in to the store and get a Matchbox car. So I actually know what I'm doing. There are a lot to choose from here, but I think this is the ticket here. 69 Dodge Charger. Now it's time to go see if we can't find the perfect tire. I don't know what color it's gonna be. I don't know what size it's gonna be, but we'll go in and we'll see if we can't find the perfect tire. We got the perfect tire. Time to find some wood. Let's see what we can track down here for wood. I think I found our wood. Check this out. If you're a Matchbox car, you fit on this piece of wood perfectly. So, I think that's what we're gonna do. Look at that. Boom. That's like the perfect fit. Let's see if we can find some really cool screws to hold this whole thing together. Right, I think these screws are just what the doctor ordered. Change of plans. I put the pine back because if this is gonna be a Hot Wheels showcase, we need some wood that is deserving of showcase. And we're gonna go Hemlock because this is pretty and it's clean and it's straight. Here is our tire. This thing is a top-notch tire. Okay, what I like best about this tire is you can see it's been well loved and somebody was out marking their territory in their neighborhood by doing big honking skids. I mean, you can see we got good tread on here at other spots, but whoever had this tire before knew how to rally a bicycle. And I think that that is an excellent sign there, that somebody was out having a good time. I mean, tires are meant to wear out. And if you can wear them out by skidding the tread like that, I mean, kudos to you. That's even better. So I'm gonna wash this thing up. And I bet you I've got some kind of Skookum tire rejuvenator stuff that I can use. But we know for sure that this here, that skid mark, that's gonna be the top, because that's something to be proud of. I think anybody that's ever rallied a BMX bike knows that that's awesome. All right, I got that all cleaned up and shined up. That's looking pretty good. And I think maybe the next step, smart person would probably come up with a plan. So, take some paper, lay it out, do some tracing, and figure out just exactly how many shelves we want to put on this thing. So something like that. We got our top up there. I kind of like how that Specialized logo's on the side, and Shazam. That's it. Now, grab our model car and see what happens. I think that's a pretty good start there. You have one cool car down here, the bottom. Then you want to have another one up top. So that's our one up top. Got a tape measure so that I can make sure that everything is nice and parallel. So now the next one is, how many shelves do we want? Because, you know, just that's not enough. I could get carried away and put too many shelves in there too. So anyway, I don't know. That's why I switched to pencil from Sharpie. So let's get some thinking going on here. Well, I did some thinking and some math. So, Mr. Jax, it is 13 5/8 inches from the top of the top shelf to the top of the bottom shelf. I think I came up with an opinion here, right? So this is the 2 3/4. That's kind of, I mean, that's packing a lot of them in there. And you don't really have much like finger grabby room in there. I mean, if this was gonna be for like Boku storage, that's probably good. But I think I'm intending this to be for your show cars, like your favorites. So if we're really going for like really showing off, I think a little bit more sparse on the shelfage is the way to go. And I kind of like the look of that there. So I don't know what we'll get. We'll get 4 plus a couple, 5-ish shelves on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think that's gonna be good. I think that's just what the doctor ordered. Thinking's done. You could really fit 2 up there if you wanted, but that's a great spot just to spotlight your like favorite car. And I just drew 2 there, but I went chunk, 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 chunk. You can get 4 of them in there. You can fit 4 there. You can fit 4 there, and then that's another crown jewel. Slick Rick. Now it's just doing. Because we want this to look good, we might as well go ahead and sand, just because sanding is caring. And I'm actually considering myself to be a semi-professional sander these days, especially after doing Gracie's car. So, boom. We're gonna sand, and we'll get this thing looking pretty. And then, who knows, we might start cutting some things. Sanding's done. That looks pretty sharp. That's nice and smooth, even at the edges. Gotta do our little cleanup here. But this is where I gotta make a decision. How sister-proof do we want to make this thing? I mean, how crazy is that little sister of yours? Pretty crazy. I think we're gonna up the sister-proof factor on this just a little bit. We'll just do a little recessed groove, right? The problem is that Hot Wheels pretty much are the whole width of this board. And so if I'm gonna do a groove, oh geez, it's not gonna leave that much. But man, if I can pull this off, it's gonna be pretty cool. And people appreciate effort. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Worst thing, I go buy another board. Oh, or I just make this one skinnier. Oh, piece of cake. I don't have to buy another board. I got room to screw up a couple times on this thing. Let's do it. We're going to sister-proof. Well, how deep do you think we really need to make this in order for it to be sister-proof? Sister-proof is actually a pretty subtle thing. Let's just go. Let's do that. Well, it worked. So, car, got a little itty-bitty grooves on either side. I don't know if you can see those, but I think that's going to be a nice little subtle feature to sister-proof this thing. Made for a kind of rough finish on here, though. You know what? I'm a semi-professional sander, so a little elbow grease, clean that right out. That's exactly what we wanted. That's looking sharp. It's coming together, bub. This is looking pretty good. I think you're gonna like this. Well, Shazam! Look at that. This is just roughed up, but I'd say, by George, I think we've got something here. Oh, we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna hang this thing too. We'll come up with that next week. Yeah, check this out. So, right? Like this. And then you can put your car in here. Sister-proof. Jiggle, jiggle. As long as we don't break anything going forward, we're looking good. The next plan is to get these things ready for some sort of finish. Probably just gonna do a poly something or other, because that wood is beautiful just like it is. Maybe a little bit of sanding, because nothing says love like more sanding. I'm gonna rig something up here so that I can hang these things up when I paint them. Because this is a lot easier than like having to get out the sawhorses. I think this will work pretty good. Put a little screw in there. And then I think we'll be able to hang it from something. First, more sanding. Sanding, sanding, sanding. Sanding, sanding, sanding. Jax, we need a sanding song. Sanding, sanding. Right, this is gonna be a showpiece, so that's why. Just gotta make sure that whatever scratches we put into this when we were cutting and dry fitting, make sure those are yourself. That'll then just a little quick wipe, tack cloth, get our dust off so that the poly is nice and good looking. Ta-dam! It's like some fancy wind chime. So here's the deal. I could use a paintbrush and paint the poly on the paintbrush, but as Uncle Jim says, why do something by hand when you can use a tool? So I'm gonna break out the spray gun and we'll just spritz that and it's gonna look sharp. I'm gonna use this. It's polyacrylic. It's not polyurethane, it's water-based, right? And so it goes on really easy. It's super easy to clean up. And also another bonus is that when I spray it out of my gun, it's like dries super fast. So all of the overspray and everything that doesn't hit the wood, it just turns into a powder in the air, like a foot or two after it leaves the gun. So I don't have to worry about turning the garage into a toxic mess or anything like that. So that's the trick. That's what's gonna make your thing look great. All right, I got my paint and duds on. We're ready to do this. Final coat. I'm gonna go grab an adult beverage while these things sit out here and dry. Then we might just give them a light sanding or something like that. I'd say that turned out pretty good. So let's go ahead, pop those screws out, and then we'll go ahead and I got some polishing pads that we can go ahead and just spruce those things up a little bit, and then it's gonna be time for some assembly. Fortunately, I numbered all these things, so at least I know what order they go in. And I'm thinking we really want to make sure these are parallel to each other. So I might just cut some spacers to make sure that as I do the next set of boards, everything is exactly the same distance and parallel, and it'll look nice and symmetric. Because that's important. I have this leather hole punch, you know, for like putting holes in belts or something. Get skinnier or bigger, but I think I'm going to use this to knock the holes in the tire. That way when we put the screws in, they sit down a little flatter and it'll be a cleaner look. All right, I'm going to cut some spacers and go to town. I got to cut the little edges off so that make it a little pointy, so that way it sits in there between the little ridges we have on the side for making it sister proof. I never really studied the backside of the tire. The backside of the tire has got this nice little red accent here. And I think I think that kind of adds a little bit more character to the whole thing. So when I was putting it together, I went ahead and I used my trusty leather punch, and I punched these holes too. And so they're all recessed. This will be the front of the tire, just because it's got a little bit more pizzazz. I paid attention, right? I had to do a little reassembly. This is the pretty side. So this is pretty, and we got the good sister-proof edge on all of these guys here. The last thing is to hang it. So we'll just use a picture hanger, and I'm gonna give you this too. And that way you can put that on the wall. Figure out exactly how high it needs to be so that you don't see it. We'll use some of this official copper picture hanger wire. And I got the drill. We'll drill a couple little holes in the back in the strategic right spot. Do a little twisty, and I think it'll be done. And there we have it, the finished product. Pretty much how we planned it to turn out. I like the fact that I got the red swoosh on this side too. It just makes it a little jazzier, and then I'm sure you're gonna have some colorful cars in here, so it'll work out. And room for all of this, right? Yada yada, and it's still sister-proof. So we got just our little ridges on here. So if she comes in like a pack of mutant ninja turtles, it'll still, car shouldn't fall off. So anyway, I think we're all set. Bub, I hope you enjoy your birthday present. That was a lot of fun to make. And yeah, we'll see what happens next.